Hi, friends. Thanks for joining us. Do us a huge favor on this Grey Cup weekend. Smash that subscribe button. It helps the channel grow. It helps get the word out. Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Yeah, you can find us at Ray Benny Sports. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Check us out on Reddit and Discord. And don't forget, leave us a rating on your favorite podcast provider.
Let's get right into it. Grey Cup weekend. But before we talk about the Grey Cup, let's talk about the recent news that you delivered to me just as we were about to start. Mike O'Shea staying in Winnipeg.
Breaking news. Yep, he's staying.
Dang, I wish there were some terms and conditions, but I'm a fan of Coach O'Shea. I'm happy that he's staying.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the only details we have now is the Bombers tweeting out that he's coming back for 2026. So I don't know if it's just a one-year deal or what. Maybe they're going out with a bang here. I have no idea, but you know, it's good news. Good news for the Bombers. And I'm the same as you. I'd rather see O'Shea come back. There was hiccups this year, but hey, at the end of the day, they still made the playoffs and everything, and they battled through a bunch of stuff, man. And you can't get rid of a coach like that. You know, like a lot of people were like, "Hey, time to move on, time to move on." But you know, the guy's done a lot for this team, and you don't know what you're getting. You know, like yes, you can go promote Jordan Younger, but you don't know what you're getting there yet, right? With O'Shea, you know it. And, you know, this year will be coming up, will be a big test for the Bombers.
With you don't know what you're getting, I think we got some hints that we might be getting Jason Hogan back as the OC with Mike O'Shea. Agree or disagree?
I mean, that's a big possibility, right? But hopefully there's some changes in there. You know, Jarius Jackson role maybe grows a little bit or something, right? Because Hogan needed help. And again, it's first year. You're going to have hiccups along the way. Yeah. Right. So maybe in his second year, he knows what worked, what didn't work, and he can grow from that. You know, like Buck Pierce had Paul LaPolice to teach him. And then Buck had been around and he'd played quarterback, kind of knew what he was doing. Jason Hogan was fresh coming off as a running back coach. But again, it'll be interesting too, because where does Brady Oliveira want to end up in this all? Because we know that's going to be a big question mark this offseason too.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think there's a favorite to become the Toronto head coach now?
Yeah, unless they do look at Jordan Younger for that. Trying to think of who else out there. I don't think Noel Thorpe will be that guy. I don't see Toronto making that. Like Toronto kind of has to come out with a bang on this hire, right? And maybe they go back with someone with Argo ties as well to bring that in.
Yeah, possibly. Like there's a young coach, Josh Bell. Around 40 years old. He's been in the CFL for 14 years, 6 as a player, 8 as a coach, mostly going wherever Corey Mace goes. So there might be a chance that he goes.
Yeah, it's a good possibility. And he's with Corey Mace right now, right? So yeah. He's probably learned a lot over the last couple seasons.
Speaking of Corey Mace, Jason Moss going toe-to-toe in the Grey Cup. What's one word you'd use to describe this Grey Cup matchup?
It's hard to come up with a word for this, but I'm going to go with and it's probably pretty simple, but I'm going to go with this one is going to be a battle. I think it's going to be a tough to find offensive points in this game because both of these defenses are so good. And it's going to come down to the team that makes the least mistakes or the team that can get after the quarterback. So I think it's going to be a 60-minute battle going back and forth. I can't see this being a blowout. But yeah, it could probably end up going either way.
I'm going to say monsoon-like. And when I say monsoon-like, I'm not talking about like weather. I'm talking about Gorilla Monsoon, who is half of the greatest sports commentator duo in sports/sports entertainment history with Bobby the Brain Heenan. But I'm saying monsoon-like because of that famous quote that he used to use, the irresistible force against the immovable object. This will come down to who can convert on second down and who can create the most havoc on the quarterbacks. And that happens in the trenches. Both of these teams are top 3 when it comes to stopping teams on second down. Saskatchewan is slightly better than Montreal at converting second downs, but we have to remember that Montreal was missing their starting quarterback, Davis Alexander, for the good chunk of the season, and that'll skew your offensive numbers. You know, I'm really looking specifically I'm looking forward to seeing Montreal's defense and how they can take on the Saskatchewan running game. Yes, Montreal's been good at stopping the running game, but Saskatchewan is playing a very much bully ball-like system.
Yep.
I want to see how much that affects Montreal's pass rush, which we'll get on in more detail, I'm sure, in regards to when we talk about the game. But yeah, I'm going to say monsoon like, and it's going to be a battle of the trenches. Like you say,
Yeah.
battle.
No, for sure.
Who has the most to lose this Grey Cup? Man, I was going through this list. And of course, Trevor Harris with his age and not starting yet, and Jeremy O'Day. But I'll give Jeremy O'Day a break because he's in year 2 of the Corey Mace era. Both of them just got an extension, I think, for a
Yep.
couple years. So, yes, it's going to hurt people in the organization, frustration. They'll feel it the worst. But I'm going to say Rider Nation. They are going to feel the pain if they lose this one in Winnipeg. They were confident from week one, pretty much the number one team in the CFL from week one. They've been boasting online non-stop about how good their team is. And yes, like I said, it's going to hurt the players. It's going to hurt front office. It's going to hurt all admin and all the people who actually work within the organization. But I'm saying in regards to pride and short-term pain, it's going to be Rider Nation.
So if Saskatchewan wins, do Bomber fans in Winnipeg feel the pain then for having Saskatchewan win this game in their
It's not going
stadium?
to feel good. It's not going to feel good.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to go with Trevor Harris, just because of where he is in his career, age-wise. No contract extension so far with Saskatchewan. This is it right now for him, depending on what happens. And like we say, he hasn't started one of these games before. So this is it. This is his chance, his opportunity, because you never know with Father Time next season. So I think it'll come down to how he can play in this game, and if he can withstand that Montreal defense. And he maybe wants to go out on top. Maybe this is the swan song if he ends up winning too. But I think he has the most to lose right now because hey, you never know after this year what happens.
Father Time is undefeated.
Exactly.
So let's talk about the game. Who is going to win the Grey Cup? Offer a score. What's going to happen on offense, defense, special teams for that to happen? Who's going to win?
You're asking me straight out right now who's going to win?
Sure, why not? Let's give you a curveball here.
I've kind of gone back and forth on this. I think it'll be a close game, but I'm thinking I'm settling on Saskatchewan ended up winning this game. I'm going to go low scoring 21-17. I think in the end, Saskatchewan D may be too much for Davis Alexander and the experience of Trevor Harris and that O-line for Saskatchewan. And Ouellette, I think Ouellette's in line to have a very big game. Will do enough to hold Montreal off.
Yeah, I got Saskatchewan 23, Montreal 19. And these teams are so close in the way that they play and the physicality that they play with. I'm honestly going more with momentum and feel rather than statistics and result. As a Bomber fan, I've watched these games closely, these games being the Grey Cup, especially the last 3. And there's a feel of the Riders that reminds me more of Toronto and Montreal and the Bombers when they won the Grey Cup. Rather than the Bombers of the last 3 years. It just feels like it's Saskatchewan's time coming into Princess Otto Stadium, taking advantage of being the visiting team. There's something about that stadium that I'm sure will rile up the Saskatchewan players, get them to a level that might be more intense than Montreal, but at the same time, they have leadership like Trevor Harris, like Jamarcus Hardrick, who have been through these Grey Cup battles. And not to say like Montreal, like 20 of their players, I believe, have been through a Grey Cup and a winning Grey Cup. But Trevor Harris, recent. I think, will be hungrier. Jamarcus Hardrick will be hungrier, losing his last 2 trips to the Grey Cup. And he can voice that. I've won 2, I've lost 2, and this is what we got to do. Like he's one of those leaders. So I think just off of feel momentum, I'm going with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And yes, I'm going to admit, yes, this is Corey Mace's first time as a head coach, but he's been looking good too. He's been growing with that team. And we said, I mentioned a few weeks ago when he refused that Gatorade bath, that there is something, a different focus about this team that was different than the Craig Dickinson led teams who couldn't quite get it done in the big games.
Yeah, like you say, statistically, these teams are very similar. Like a few yards here and there kind of difference. Saskatchewan's allowed the third fewest sacks in the CFL, while Montreal has the most sacks. So something's got to give there. Whereas Saskatchewan also have the third most sacks in the CFL. So it's just again, we talked about the trenches. Those D lines versus those O lines are going to make a difference. If Montreal can get after Trevor Harris and
Yeah,
force him to throw, hey, they'll have an opportunity because he's not as mobile. But if Harris has time, he is going to find his receivers. Bo
yeah,
Levi put up some yards against Montreal. The only thing he couldn't do was put in the points. Zach Collaros ended up putting up tons of yards on Montreal and points, right? But Montreal's offense was better than the Bombers that day. So yeah, it's going to come down to a turnovers. Like both these teams, what was it? Combined for 80 turnovers this
yeah,
season. So both these teams are pretty similar.
absolutely.
And we saw Saskatchewan struggle against BC for the most part until the fourth quarter to put up points, and then they got it done. So like you're saying, they're almost that kind of team that's figuring out ways to get it done, like the Bombers did in that first season, first Grey Cup where they beat Hamilton, and things are going their way. The bounces end up going their way by the end of the game. Even earlier this season, games were close for Saskatchewan where they were winning. Other
Yeah,
teams were coming back and they still hung on to win. So it's going to be good. And AJ Olette, Saskatchewan's run game is very good. Montreal's not very good. So I think
yeah.
that's where the difference is, where AJ Olette's going to be the one to perform. If that O line can block for him, he'll end up being the difference probably in this game.
I do like that Montreal running game with that running back. Shoot, what's his name?
Smith,
Smith. Yeah.
yeah,
He was even averaging 5 yards a game last game, although they didn't commit to the rushing game because of the way the game was going. But I do think Roulette will be fed often and early and will make a difference. I think the depth of the Montreal D line will be challenged. Like, let's not sleep on Roulette now. He quietly rumbled, oxymoron, quietly and rumbled for the second most yards in the CFL. And
yeah,
let's not sleep on Montreal losing Sean Oakman. He was an Eastern All CFLer this season. Stress on was. He was there for the 2022 Argo win. He was a 3-time CFL All Star, 1-time All CFLer. As physically, he's one of a kind. He's a freak. You just can't replace that off the practice roster or with a rotational player. So I think that early on in the game, the Montreal D line will be tested, will be beaten and bruised. And I think that will affect them later on and will give Trevor Harris more time to pass the ball as the game goes along. That's why I see Saskatchewan winning this game, because both quarterbacks are very effective. And what it comes down to really with both quarterbacks is how that hamstring's going to hold up for Davis Alexander. Like,
yeah,
dude is not the best improver off the run, but if he uses his legs and he finds a hole, he can be gone for 20, 30 yards. And if he doesn't
yeah.
have that option, what are the linebackers Saskatchewan and DB's going to worry about?
Well, yeah, he led the team last week in rushing with 60 plus yards,
Yeah.
right? But now the hamstring's an issue. So is he going to run? Because one run could affect that hamstring and throw the whole game off. And then we got MBT coming in to try and play cleanup.
Yeah.
The one thing about Saskatchewan's D is their back end is susceptible, especially if they're not getting that pass rush. So Davis Alexander and these receivers for Montreal can exploit that. I don't see them doing very well running this ball no matter what. I mean, Saskatchewan gave up 76 yards rushing per game on average.
Yeah.
That's going to be tough. So they're going to have to do it through the air. But you're going to need Davis Alexander to be mobile. And can he do that? And for Montreal, is Mustafa Johnson, like you're saying, Oakman's out, is Mustafa gone? Is Mustafa Johnson going to play? Because that's huge as well for Montreal. He hasn't played yet, and yes, they've gotten the wins, but now you got a different animal on the other side because that Saskatchewan offense is pretty good even with their receivers. But like you're saying, AJ Olette, if you pound AJ Olette into that line for the first half and getting success, again, you're going to wear down that Montreal defense late in that game and take advantage of it.
Yeah. I'm not concerned like you about the Saskatchewan secondary. They are a very strong secondary. They have the league's leading interception in Tavon Campbell, and they have Roland Milligan. Yes, they give up yards, but they give up a lot of garbage yards because they're in the lead a lot. Like, I think they have a better all-round defense than Montreal, to be honest with you. Like, their linebackers, yes, they have Tyrese Beverett in Montreal, but AJ Allen in Saskatchewan and Jameer Thurman, they are all-star linebackers. And combine that with Roland Milligan and Tevin Campbell on the backside, Corey Mace got some weapons on there.
Yeah, oh for sure. That's why I think it's gonna be a battle, and if a team can cause a turnover or force some turnovers on the other team, and that's gonna make a huge difference, in terms of points, especially if it's in the wrong half of the field for that team, right?
Yeah.
Because if you give Montreal or Saskatchewan here a short field, they're gonna take advantage of it. So yeah, clean football here. But again, weather looks good. +2, no rain, no snow in the forecast. So
Yeah.
besides being a little bit cold, there shouldn't be much issue there weather-wise.
And I will say, even health wise, if Alexander is okay with the hamstring. When you have Malik Rose, Micah Johnson, and Mike Rose on a Saskatchewan D line who knows how to contain a dude like that, it's not going to be easy pickings for Davis Alexander.
No, it's gonna be tough for sure.
So needless to say, I'm really boosting Saskatchewan this week. It
All of
hurts.
Winnipeg is hating us right now.
It hurts. Eh? We're just here to speak the truth from some fans.
Hey man, this game obviously it can go either way, and I
Yeah.
think Montreal has a good chance of winning this game as well. But yeah, Saskatchewan gets the slight edge.
Who is an under the radar player who's in line to have a big game? I'm going to go with Mario Alford. Dude has been quietly leading the league in kick return average, and it looked a couple times last week that he was a crease away or a missed tackle away from taking one significantly deep into whatchamacallit's territory, BC's territory, or back to the house. So I'm going to say watch out for Mario Alford. He's going to be the under the radar player to have a big game.
Yeah, it's interesting here, right? You got Alfred and Letcher. Both of them can break one, and that could be a huge difference in this game. I'm going kicker, and I don't know if he's that much under the radar lately, but Jose Maltos Diaz has been on fire for Montreal. Huge last week in getting that win against Montreal or Hamilton. And I think it's going to come down to a lot of field goals in this game because I think defenses are going to probably bend a little bit, but not necessarily break. And I think touchdowns are going to be hard to come by. And at the end, it's going to be who's better, Diaz or Lawther in the end. And I think Diaz is going to be the guy that sticks up for Montreal.
I don't think I give my score. I think it's Saskatchewan 23, Montreal 19.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Oh, right on. Thank you. Thank you. Let's move on to player of the game and Canadian of the game predictions. Who do you got for player of the game?
I'm going to give it to AJ Ouellette because I think he will be the guy that makes the difference here.
Yeah. Someone I'm leaning towards too. That he's going to have a big game and be a big factor, but I'm going to pick a different AJ. I'm going to take AJ Allen on the defensive side of the ball. It's not often that a defensive player wins player of the game. Who won it? Enoch Muamba might have been the last defensive player to win MVP, but I can see him being a difference maker, making those tight tackles when needed. He has a nose for the ball. He's a difference maker on defense. He can do the sacks. He can do the interceptions. He can get tackled for loss. So I can see him being a factor, maybe a late game turnover and some causing some havoc on the line, maybe as a blitzer as well. So I'm going to go AJ Allen, and I'm going to take him as well since he's going to win player of the game as Canadian in the game. Speaking of Enoch Muamba, I think he is going to pull a Enoch double down and win the player of the game and Canadian of the game. So I'm going AJ Allen.
I'm going Tyson Philpott for Montreal because, well, partly he had a very good game against Saskatchewan earlier this year. I know Saskatchewan was down a couple of corners, but I think he can be a difference maker. We saw him actually do it against the Bombers as well, right, a couple of years ago. So I think he'll be that guy. Unfortunately, be on the losing side in terms of my predictions, but I think he'll get the nod.
CFL fans, put your player of the game and Canadian of the game predictions in the comments section below. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button and give us a like.
Yeah, come check us out too at the game. We'll be at the game, so yeah,
we'll be all over the place. FanFest tomorrow, FanFest tonight. I think I'll be at the outdoor social.
Outdoor tailgate,
social, whatever it is.
Tailgate, indoor tailgate on Sunday before the game. The outdoor tailgate.
Bell. Oh, we're gonna be all over the place. Look for us. I don't think I'm gonna bring my camera. That's dangerous. I almost left my camera at the. I had to go back at the event center last night at the Player Awards to go get my camera because I forgot it. Yeah, I'm just starting to use it. I forgot it. Speaking of the Player Awards, what's one word you'd use to describe your CFL Player Awards night experience?
I've never been to one of these before, so I mean, to me, it was fun. It was a great experience. We got to see the media side of things. We got to mingle with the players, the execs. It was a great atmosphere in that party area. Before and even after the show, and it was great because you get to see players, the team execs, and fans just all around mingling together, taking pictures, players talking to fans, all that kind of stuff. So it was pretty cool to see.
I'm gonna say posh, but not in a snobby way. Like it was a great event. The booze was flowing. The hors d'oeuvres were there. Different faces, players, referees. We
Oh,
saw
yeah, that's right.
Andre, the Grey Cup
Rule.
referee. Yeah, he's going to be rolling. We saw Solomon Elamimian, the CFLPA president. We saw the commissioner. It was crazy. Milt Stiegel was there. All them. Oh, it was a good time. If you do have an opportunity to go and experience it, go and experience it.
Yeah, I would definitely do it again. On either side, I don't know if you can buy tickets for this event. I never really looked
Yes,
into that.
there's a package, I
But
think,
oh, is it
for all
okay?
these events. Yeah.
Yeah, next time it'd be cool to actually sit in the auditorium to watch but yeah, and for us too to see the players up close after they won the awards was kind of
Yeah.
cool, doing the interviews and stuff like that. That was awesome. I mean, they were standing right there, right? You had Trey Babel standing right there, talking to all of
Nathan
us in
Rourke.
that room. Yeah, Nathan
Yeah.
Rourke, it was a pretty cool experience.
That was a really good time. Hopefully, we
Yeah.
get to keep on doing that. Benny, you have anything to say to our friends?
You know what? Don't forget. Thanks a lot for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and follow. I started that a little bit earlier this time. Yeah, we'll see you somewhere around this weekend. Have a good time.
Come and say hi to us at Grey Cup. Come take some pictures. We want to meet y'all, and I hope to meet y'all, some of y'all at the festival. We can do a little bit of interviews. We'll post them up on our YouTube channel and social media. So, in the words of LeVar Burton, we'll see you next time. Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Benny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.